This is the third video on Dealer Synergy's philosophy on how to use AVV Web Control's Internet Lead Management tool. Again, quick disclaimer, this is not meant to be an end-all, full-blown AVV training. That's not what this is meant to be. None of the other two videos that we shot before were meant to be that. This is just a quick rehash and some basic highlight points for Dealer Synergy clients. Remember, all Dealer Synergy clients have went through AVV training already. This is just Dealer Synergy's spin on AVV and how to maximize it in the Dealer Synergy philosophy. Now to jump into it, we've already spoken about the left-hand drill down, and we also talked about the top navigation tabs. Now we're going to go into, let's just say that we click active. But first, before we can get into active, let's refresh the Dealer Synergy protocol. There's two processes. There's an engagement process and there's a follow-up process. The Dealer Synergy follow-up process is email, phone call, email, phone call, email, phone call, email, phone call for 30 straight days. What's going to happen is there's going to be a predetermined automated email action plan that's put into AVV. That's where you see over here, days 1 through 24, 25 through 30, etc. Is that correct, Amanda? Okay, so that's what that's for, and that's an automated email protocol. That means that all Dealer Synergy coordinators are not supposed to send a manual or automatic email for various reasons. Lost productivity, the smallest form of communication, etc., etc. We want all Dealer Synergy coordinators to spend their HR, their human resource time, on making phone calls. There's a higher value than just sending manual emails, especially since AVV can automate the emails for you. Plus, the read open rates on emails are less than 20%. So that basically means the emails that you send out, most of them don't get opened. So what you want to be able to do is spend time doing what's relevant and most effective, which would be making phone calls. So again, day 1 through 30 is going to be the first email, phone call, email, phone call, email, phone call action plan. AVV Web Control will be set up where for the first 30 days, day 1, email template number 1, day 2, template number 2, day 3, template number 3, and so on and so forth. What your job as a Dealer Synergy Internet Coordinator utilizing the AVV tool is to come into work and handle your leads. What do I mean by handle your leads? First things first is that you want to handle all your fresh leads, all the new leads that came in. All the fresh leads, unresponsive leads, you want to handle them. What I mean by handle is that you want to make sure that the automated email went through and then you made the manual phone call. I'll get to that in a second. After you handle the fresh leads, you want to handle all your responses. After you handle your responses, you want to click this button right here. You want to click active. This coordinator has 103 active leads. You might not be able to see because it's blurry, but trust me, it says 103 active leads. So what do? You come into work and you start from the top of your list and you work your way down. Phone call, 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 phone call. Got somebody on the phone. Go through your Dealer Synergy 10-step road to the appointment process. You will either make or not make the appointment. If you make the appointment, then you go through your appointment confirmation process. If you don't make the appointment, you qualify and turn it over to the next person on the food chain. So again, to repeat what I just said, is that after you handled your fresh leads, after you handle your responses, you want to click the active button and it's going to give you your all active leads. Now, what should be in this category? You want to have only leads that are, and this is very important, you only want leads that are 30 days or less in your active folder. Why? Because Dealer Synergy has a Tier 2 coordinator. The Tier 2 coordinator is what's called a Lost Opportunity Coordinator. A Lost Opportunity Coordinator only handles leads that have been deaded by the other coordinators for whatever reason and leads that are over 30 days old. So now I'm going to repeat what should be in your active folder. Only leads that are 30 days or less without communication. That means once a lead has hit 31 days, and if there's been no communication within 30 straight days, then it's going to get put into all lost post 30 days. Okay, because what can happen is we could create, or there should be created in your all lost, if there's a category that says post 30 days, we could set an automated email action plan for that. So again, you want to keep it out of the active, because if I'm a coordinator, I'm only handling leads that are 30 days or less. Why do I need to have all these other leads growing and growing and growing incrementally, exponentially? It's going to slow me down and it's not valid. The other thing, and this might surprise you all, is if you have a lead that doesn't have a phone number in there, the Dealer Synergy process is to open up the original lead, which I'm going to show you. Open up the lead pops up. the first thing you want to do is open up the new note right here. Do you see that? You click the new note, and then you want to first see, did the lead contain a phone number, and it just didn't parse. If it didn't parse, but the phone number is there, you highlight it, you click edit, which is over here, you paste it in there, and now you got the phone number. Let's just say, though, you didn't have the phone number in the original body of the email. Then step 2 is to send an email template. You click send email, and there's an email template in your deal signature library that says, you know, no phone number or bogus phone number. So it's the same type of email, it's just worded a little bit differently. If there's no phone number, if there's a bogus phone number, you come to your email template, and then you find that email, and then you send it out. And basically it asks the prospect directly, you know, for a valid phone number and gives reasons why. Now, let's say you've done that. Let's say you turn around and you have tried to, you know, identify if there was a phone number that just didn't parse right. That didn't work. You tried it. You sent it an email. As soon as you're done sending an email, I recommend doing a reverse lookup. That means going to 411 or anywho.com, and if you've got any information, let's say that was in, let's say, Newark, Ohio. The prospect, I would turn around and say, can I look for, you know, John Smith, you know, in Newark, Ohio, if you have his phone number? And I would try to get his phone number that way. You have about a 33% shot of actually getting a full-blown contact information by, you know, reverse lookups or 411. If you can't do that way, then what I would do in the final, you know, way to try to ascertain some information is by going into, you know, their email, cutting and pasting their email or cutting and pasting their name, drop it into Google, Facebook, and Twitter. And again, remember, social media is one of the largest forms of communication, and you might be able to get a ping or hit and get their contact information. Remember, this is not a customer service position. This is a sales position. You are selling the appointment. So what you want to be able to do is ascertain or extract their contact information. You can't just assume that it's a bad lead or bogus lead just because the phone number's not there. You've got to look for it. If it's not there, you've got to find it. Sales is about putting things together. Does that make sense? Okay, now, to move forward from that, if you don't have a phone number, let's say we did all that. We checked the original record, we turned around and we did the reverse lookup, we did the social media background check, we did the Google check, we did all that stuff, there's no phone number. Then you know what you do? You dead deal bogus information. Why? For a couple reasons. With some lead source providers, if it doesn't have a valid phone number, you're able to get a credit for it being a bad lead, and that's $20-25 a lead. So you want to try to get that money recouped as soon as possible. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, besides that, the other aspect of this, by putting in the bad, is that you want to get leads out of here, because if you follow the deal synergy protocol, your job as a frontline coordinator is to only phone call. So why are you going to house an active lead that doesn't have a phone number? It's not a relevant thing. What you want to be able to do is drop it down to all lost, no phone number, bogus phone number, and you could create an automated email action plan for that source. Am I correct? Okay, good. So now, let me go back what I started saying. There's two processes. There's an engagement process and a follow-up process. Email, phone call, email, phone call, email, phone call is the follow-up process. What you're trying to do is escalate from the email to the phone call or the phone call to the appointment. As soon as there's some type of communication engaged, either when you make the phone call, you get the prospect on the phone, or you make the phone call and leave a voicemail message and they respond to your voicemail message, or one of the automated email templates from AVV gets open, they respond back to it. There, guess what? It's no longer a follow-up process anymore. It is now an engagement prospect. The prospect has now engaged you at some level. So remember, there's two major processes: the follow-up process and engagement process. The internet coordinator is going to spend the majority of their time in their life in what? The follow-up process. J.D. Power says you only have an 11 to 14% connection ratio on the phones. That means that if you dial 120 times in a day, you're only at best going to get 16.8 people on the phone. And J.D. Power also says that you have less than a 20% read open rate. So what you want to make sure, and this is very important, that you have a very methodical, strategic follow-up process. Email, phone call, email, phone call. Let the tool do all the automated emails until there's some type of contact. Then it could be on a case-by-case basis. You want to spend the majority of your time doing phone call, phone call, phone call, and you want to make the relevant phone calls. So to recap where we started from again, when you first come in and after you do your deal essentially 3-minute books, you want to handle all your fresh leads. After you handle your fresh leads, you're going to handle all your responses. After your responses, you're going to click active and you want to make your phone call, phone call, phone call, phone call. And here's another disclaimer. You're not going to have to call people every single day. That should be your goal, your strategy, but there'll be notes in there that say, don't call me because I'm on vacation, sick, I'll call you back, etc., etc. Call the relevant ones. email, phone call every single day for the first 30 days.